Hello, 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 everyone, and thank you for joining us here today at MoneyWise Couples. And today's topic is 3 reasons why you should not buy everything that you can afford. Now, just because you think you can afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. It is very important, it is vital to our financial success that we plan our money and not just spend it. One thing we know is that we must use financial wisdom or we will not experience the prosperity and the freedom we were meant to experience. So let's talk about it. For those of you who do not know me, hi, I am Tesha D. Colston, financial educator and coach here at MoneyWise Couples, where our goal is to empower couples to work effectively together to master this money thing. Our website is moneywisecouples.com. It is still being updated right now, but you can go there and join our mailing list and you can be notified when it does go live. And if you haven't done this already, feel free to come into the couple community that is in Facebook. Just do a search for a hashtag MoneyWise Couples. It's a group where couples come to learn how to grow their relationships and their bank accounts. All right. So now on to today's topic, 3 reasons why you should not buy everything you think you can afford. Listen, many of us have stinking thinking when it comes to managing money. And this stinking thinking keeps us living from paycheck to paycheck. It keeps us bound to a job or two, and it keeps us from experiencing the prosperity levels which I believe that we were created to experience. And if those aren't good enough reasons why you should not buy everything you think you can afford, here are 3 more. Number one, you can't really afford it. Listen, affording the payments is not the same as being able to afford the item. Affording an item starts with having so much cash in your bank account, right, that you can just pay for it outright. Just because there is $200 in your budget a month, um, and if your employer keeps paying you every 2 weeks, that doesn't mean you can afford it. What if they decide to stop paying you? Can you still afford it? If not, you can't afford it. Now, some things are hard to afford. I mean, houses come to mind, right? But if we only focus on affording the payment, we will never actually be able to afford the item. A lot of people's in their 60s are still affording their house payments. All right. Number two, limit you limit your options. You limit your options. There is an opportunity cost to every purchase. When we buy things we can't afford, we are giving that opportunity away. Not that we can never purchase an item, but is that item worth giving up your future choices for? You aren't just spending cash, you're spending options. So if you have $800 in your checking account, for that new cell phone, if you spend it, you don't get to spend it again. Simple, right? Okay. So if you spend it, you can't invest it. The choice is done. It's over. You might end up spending all your choices on things because you can afford them. But I have some and sorry. Number 3, you may never create financial freedom. You just might never be able to create financial freedom. If we buy everything we can afford, we may never get ahead. Have you ever heard people talk about all the things that they can afford? We can afford a bigger house now. We can afford a better car. This car fits into our budget, right? It's great to be able to afford a nice vacation. We can afford to treat ourselves. to a nice meal out once in a while, or once a week rather. Often it seems like the people who insist that they can afford it sometimes are the ones that are living paycheck to paycheck with no savings, with no investment. So maybe it fits in your budget. Maybe you have the cash, but if we buy everything we can afford, we won't ever create financial freedom. Financial freedom can only happen when we don't buy everything we can afford. I opted not to buy a lot of things that I could have afforded. And when my job relocated, and I found myself on unemployment, guess what? I didn't have to consider how I was going to make that new car payment or those credit card bills because I didn't have any of those things. People will tell you when you go through circumstances and situations and you come out seemingly on top, they're going to tell you, how blessed you are. You went through that and seemingly unscathed. Sure, we can call what I went through a blessing, but it's because I used godly wisdom in not selling all my options away so that I didn't have certain stressors that other people in the same situation had. Okay. So, bottom line, as with anything, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. You could create a debt free lifestyle instead. You could open yourself up to others. You could be prepared for financial hardships. You could create a financial freedom plan. Listen, it took me a long time to change the way I looked and I thought about the things I thought I could afford. If I was ever going to break the cycle of poverty and create financial freedom, I would have to stop buying everything I thought I could afford. And so will you. Now, a lot of times people spend this way because they don't have plans for their money. And because of that, I'm offering this free guide to MoneyWise couples to help you identify your couple's definite purpose. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, he gave specific instructions for identifying one's definiteness of purpose and self confidence. So we have adapted the suggested formulas for married couples to write out together and fill in for your specific desires and goals. So I want you to go and download that. Just go to bit.ly / MWC major purpose statement, and I'll put the link in the description. Now, if you have any questions about how to talk to your spouse about money, about doing finances God's way, budgeting, financial management, or you need a consultation, you can email us at moneywisecouple@gmail.com. Join us in the Facebook group #MoneyWiseCouples. Now, if you found this valuable, please share, comment, and if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to subscribe so you can be updated when we release more marriage changing content. Thank you for tuning into MoneyWise Couples discussion today as we address the subject 3 reasons why you should not buy everything you think you can afford. Take care and God bless.